Hello guys, and welcome back to another video with me, Eagle Eye. We'll be doing another review today of something which should have come with the gauntlet, but for some reason my delivery got delayed. It's not actually the only thing which got delayed actually, because I'm still waiting for the the actual game Syndicate. I pre-ordered the I've forgotten what edition I've got, but I ordered the best version. I'm still waiting for it. So anyway, here we are. See if I can get the whole thing in the frame. Nah. Okay, well, this isn't going to be an unboxing video. It's just going to be a review because I've already taken this out. So pretty much, yeah, I'm going to be doing the sword cane, or cane sword, whichever way you want to ignore that. Whichever way you want to do it, and here it is. So just so you can see the whole thing. So yeah, now I'm going to start with the good things because I think that'll take less time and it's probably a shorter list in my case. Remember, this is my opinion, but it's quite a strong opinion, I guess. So here we are. The detailing, if slightly vague, is actually quite nice, and it does actually give you quite a good grip, all of this. It's definitely good to hold on to. So I believe this should be the button. Now mine doesn't poke out as much because of something which happened, which I'll explain later. Other detailing. It's got sort of like a nice black wood. I'm not sure what type of wood this was supposed to be, but if it was snake wood or ironwood, this would make it pretty good in combat. If it was well, if it was realistic and not completely made of plastic, as you probably have guessed, this is all plastic. The blades are pretty cool. This comes out pretty easily. The button's quite easy to push in, and yeah, it looks really good. This line here, I'm afraid that is kind of drawn on. It's not actually there, but it does make the entire profile look very, very, what is the word? Accented, I guess. It's got this little sleeve here, which is kind of a nice addition. So, and you just push it back down like that. It doesn't click, but it seems to just stay in. And, well, I guess I should show you this bit, but it probably will move on pretty quickly to the bits I don't like about this. And I have to use a light on one side now because the new light bulb for my room is shit. So here we are. Now, the blade is, I don't know how long, but it's longer than most of the hidden blades, but it's not a sword as the box would say. This is probably considered a long knife or dagger. I'm not sure how long a blade has to be until it's called a sword, but this is really short for a sword. So yeah, it goes about that much into the cane. And yeah, I guess I should also give you a tip if you want about how to assemble this out the box, but you probably already know that. Pretty much this piece comes separate, goes in there, and then this piece is separate. Yeah. See, it's just a simple slide in and twist, and there it is. Now, right, another good thing about this is that the height. When I first got this, I thought it was going to be a bit short, but actually, if I show you. Right, so pretty much the height of this thing on the ground reaches about just to my hip, which is just the right size really for me, which I'm about 5'10", 5'9", so yeah, this would be a perfect height. And also, it's actually got multiple hand placements. If I try and show you, you can hold it like the usual walking stick, where you grab the beak, maybe put your finger over the top. You can have the old Victorian method, which you might see a lot of older people, where they put their hand on the flat ball part of the handle, whatever this may be, and they curl their fingers down. There's also the walking stick method, which you can hold like that. But I prefer a little bit of a hybrid of the last two, so I actually run my hand into this slot here, curl my fingers around and put one behind so I can pick up the stick and move it forward. This would show off the top of the, what would I put, handle, the eagle-headed handle. And it still allows me to grab hold of it and move it around rather easily. Plus, this actually allows me to flip my hand very quickly over it. If it was here, I would have to drop it down on the floor. If it was here, I would have to come here, but that's not even there. So, doing it this way definitely allows me to move my hand onto the sword pretty quickly. So, that's all the good things I've got for this thing sorted out, so let's have a look at some of the bad. Right, now on to the things I found which were not good about this. Of course, when you first get this will not be a problem, as long as you do not drop it. So, if any of you think about swinging this around as an actual prop, no. It will not survive at all. This is usually just like, I would say, a wall hanging piece. Look good on a wall, look good as a cosplay costume, but it's not functional at all. So, you've been warned. Do not use this as an actual little fencing tool. Okay, so, on to the major sort of problem here. The reason why it does that is because my blade is broken. Now, this happened when it fell on the ground after I was twirling it to see what the balance was. Since it's plastic, it's so light, I thought I wouldn't have any problem. But of course, you always drop it once or twice. But on the very first time I did this, this broke out completely, to the point where the little spring-loaded button is the only thing holding it in. So I tried putting glue to put this back in. Might have somewhat worked, but it's very loose now. I wouldn't be surprised if the spring's the only thing holding it in. Full stop. So yeah, make sure you don't drop this ever. So that'll go in there. There is one good thing about this though. Now, because the button, I don't need to worry about it, since I've pretty much busted the button now, so I can just pull it out. Just put it in, out, and back in again. And it doesn't really come out. Well, it does a bit if I shake it, but it takes a bit of welly. So if you're holding onto it and you lift the stick up, it'll take a bit of a bash to the ground before it will actually come all that. But anyway, it's not going to come out overly easily. I think that's what I'm trying to get across. But anyway, to the other end. This was pretty good, as I said. But here's, well, I've already expressed that I don't like this line, just is kind of like there for extra detailing. It's a clever trick, but it just makes me feel like it's kind of a cheat. It is actually double profiled. The line's not on its own, it's just they've put the line there to make it look extra obvious. Some people might disagree with me on that, but I think it's just a bit of a cheat. But the major issue I've got with this, which is a good one, actually, because it makes the blade come out more easily, is that if you hit the bottom of this, the spring is actually so loose that it will actually release the blade. Forget about the button. Where is the button? Here's the button. Forget about that. if you just hit anywhere around here, the blade will release. Just to show you again, here's the button, here's my hand. Sorry, hang on. It doesn't do it all the way up here, but if you're about here... Oh, now you're behaving, aren't you? Come on. Right. So, there you are, and it's coming out again. Right. So, pretty much, this makes it very easy for, if you bang it anywhere on yourself, the blade will come out, regardless if you hit the button or anywhere around here at all. Which would be very good if it was a practical one, but as I stated before, not a good idea. So maybe the cane you can swing around quite a bit, but be careful with the blade. One of the other things is it's got this little plastic knob thing on the end, but there's no rubber. It's just plastic. So it has no grip on any stone or wood plank floors. Not unless they've got grooves cut into them. You might be okay on a carpet, but that's about it. But this probably will get scratched up as a process. So if you want, maybe find a little rubber bung or something and put that on the end. And that might save you from scuffing up the bottom and basically looking like an idiot who can't hold his walking stick properly. Sorry, not probably. There. So, anything else I've got a problem with? Well, if you can see this, and if I can find where it happened... Yeah, here we are. I don't know if you can see this, but when it hit the ground... For me, some of the paint got rubbed off, which this entire thing seems to be this colour. This gold colour, it's like the whole stick is that colour, and they just painted these bits black. So if you want, you can get some sandpaper, rub this off, and you would have a completely gold stick. So if you're into altering these things, then yeah, you can do that. Now, I'm not overly keen of the eagle heads sort of thing, but that's probably because, to me, this doesn't actually look that much like an eagle, really. And I think this is because this is a skull. It's an eagle skull, rather than an actual eagle head with feathers. Also, there's nothing in the eyes. The eyes are just empty, painted black. Not even a little plastic bump to represent any crystals or anything. But yeah, it's just blank. But there is also something else. An eagle skull, it's quite similar to a vulture. You know those bald things you find scavenging in the desert? This is quite vulture-like as well. So it's a bit hard to tell which bird it's supposed to be. If it didn't belong to an Assassin's Creed game, I would have thought this was a vulture skull. So, yeah. Again, people might disagree with me. This is a personal opinion of mine. I just think all birds of prey who have similar beaks, all their skulls look very similar, depending on size. So, any other mentions I might have about this? No. Not really. Its build quality is really not worth the price. I paid nearly 50 quid for this thing. Can't remember exactly, but it was at least above 40 quid and probably towards the end of 50. And the build quality is shit for that price. It took one knock to the ground, the paint was scuffed off, and the blade broke. So make your own choices on that. I'm not going to say buy it or not, but make your own choices on that. Is it worth that much money if it's not even going to be anything more than just a wall hanger? But if you live in England, this is probably the closest you'll get to a sword cane, because they're illegal. Sword canes are illegal in England. Full stop. You can buy a sword cane, but you have to have the sword blade actually removed. You can't have just a stick of metal with no edge. You have to have it removed completely. So that's it. This is probably the closest you'll get. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and yeah, maybe drop in the comments below. Do you think you'll buy this, even though I've given you some information about its build quality and other stuff? Actually, that's kind of freaky. Just look into the eyes of the dead eagle. But yeah, so hope you found this enjoyable or even informative. Like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video.